Hello. So I'm Monique Deloach, and I'm on here with Rebecca. I have this lovely little apothecary shop called Dream Consciousness Alchemy. I'm located in Venice, California, and I'm here to share some info on some plant magic and the beautiful season of fall that we are in right now.
Thank you so much, Monique. So I'm Rebecca. You guys know me. I am really interested in embodiment, and I am an ecstatic awakening dance teacher. And also I am starting to put together offerings for embodiment coaching, specifically, but all elemental shamanic guidance within all of that. So I'm really excited to talk to Monique specifically about the change of season and talking to her about the equinox specifically. So do you want to fire away, Monique, and we can go organically with the flow of everything?
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me. Yeah, absolutely. I just took a sip of my cacao drink that I've been making pretty much every afternoon, and it's still a little bit late in the morning here, but I've been adding burdock root to almost everything that I've been drinking. So yeah, I feel really connected to the burdock right now, and with the fall and kind of getting back to our roots and the onlook of winter coming, and how we can kind of root back down into who we are. I feel like the burdock is really supportive in that. So I was sharing with Rebecca earlier that I've just started studying with my herbalism teacher again. She has this amazing school called School of the Sacred Wild, and her name is Marisha Maranowska. You can find her online on Instagram. And one of the things that she always has us do at the beginning of our apprenticeship journey is pick a nourishing herb that you want to commit to for a month dive. And drink it, in all its forms for a month straight. So I've been doing that with burdock, and that started on the equinox. So I think I may be it's been 2.5, 3 weeks in, and I've been trying to drink burdock every day, overnight infusion. So getting a beautiful glass jar and putting the burdock in there and pouring hot water over it in the evening and letting it steep on the counter all night has become this really lovely ritual. I typically drink infusions, but I haven't been sitting with one particular plant regularly for quite some time. So it's really nice to create some ritual around making the burdock every night, at least trying to. And then also, like I said, it's in my cacao drink, so infusing it in this delicious cacao that I've been drinking as well.
I love that you're talking about cacao and having it in lots of different ways as well. That sounds like a real deep dive when you do it with just one herb specifically. That sounds so nourishing in lots of different ways. The way that you're talking about it just feels like it's on a cellular level, but also a soul level as well. You're kind of feeling into that sort of alchemy as well.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely what you're doing. I'm sitting in meditation with this plant, with this lovely, amazing plant, and really sitting and listening to the spirit of the plant, and drinking it with intention, spending intention and ritual around making the infusion every time I do that, whether it's the overnight infusion or the cacao, and really listening into the messages that the spirit of all living things is in communication with us always. And the feeling of being able to sit with one particular plant spirit for the course of a month is really, really powerful, and lots of intake, lots of messages.
Do you feel like, obviously you've been doing it since the equinox, like do you feel a difference in your body, and it's nourishing that difference, so it's nourishing that seasonal transition within your journey at the minute?
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Burdoch is very detoxifying. It works really well on the kidneys and the liver and the lymph system. So I feel like, you know, summer, especially me living in Southern California at the beach in Venice, you know, I'm like outside all the time. I'm in the ocean, I'm swimming, you know, try to make trips up to the mountains for hikes that are close by, just like outside and just going, like constantly wanting to soak up the sun as much as I can. And even in this pandemic quarantine environment, you know, reaching out to the friends that I'm in close contact with and spending time with them. And it just seems like it's been go, 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 go. And, you know, that part of your brain that's receiving all of the, like the dopamine and the serotonin, it's like, don't stop. You know, that's all that fun and just wanting to continue with that. But then realizing, you know, when you sit down and you take a deep breath and you realize like summer's over. The equinox has happened. The hours, you know, the days are changing. The hours feel a little off. The atmosphere, the ether, everything is shifting, and paying attention to the seasons around us, as well as the season of us, you know, the seasons that we're going through, and realizing like, I have to slow down. I can't continue this like go, go, go mentality. And the Burdoch, I feel has so much masculine, like grounding energy, like very steady, very linear, slow down. I've got you, you can be safe with me. And it feels like, oh, you know, like this amazing hug from masculine energy, allowing my feminine energy just to kind of relax into that and slow down and really think like, yes, I can still go outside and play and go swimming and do all that, but I have this amazing burdock to come home to and drink and relax and slow down a bit. Yeah, all is here.
I love that you've said that, Monique, because I feel so deeply that at the minute. I think that I've gone from being in my van, you know, like tripping around, finding these new places, finding adventures, you know, swimming in the ocean whenever and wherever I can, to literally over the past couple of weeks, it's been much more, you know, the weather over here is like 4 seasons in one day anyway sometimes, but it's definitely like today has a chill on the air, and, you know, the flowers are still around, but the leaves are definitely changing color, and the sky is, you know, is particularly dramatic, and, you know, the colors in the sky change when we get to autumn over here as well. So like I've noticed from the solstice, you know, getting to the equinox, just the difference in the amount of light that we actually get is huge. And I've begun to actually sit with the darkness a little bit more and the silence a little bit more, just to really try to embrace that. Because for me, I feel like this transition point, you know, the equinox, I always whenever we get to the equinox, I'm always a bit like, oh, we're there already, okay, yeah, you know. And my body always wants to keep going and keep adventuring, or my soul, sorry, I always want to see, you know, beautiful blue ocean, and I always want to see the sunshine and feel it radiate on my skin. But ultimately, you know, it's a really good reminder to slow down and to check in. And my body's definitely been asking for more very, very slow movement, actually. It's like almost directed me down that path of like, no, do yin yoga, stretch, you know, like this is a nurturing time, just like take stock. And I love that you were talking about the detoxifying elements of burdock root, because that sounds really magical to me right now, because part of me wants to do a juice cleanse, but part of me is a bit like, doesn't feel quite right. I feel like it needs to be warmer for my body right now, or you know, that to me is real. That sounds really delicious.
The burdock is, and I think you might want to try. You might want to try some as a start to maybe feeling into that fall season and rooting down. And it is really magical on the lymph system and the liver and the kidneys. It's kind of thought of as a blood purifier in a sense, even though technically our blood does not need to be purified, right? But it gets the toxins moving. It's kind of like, you could think of it as something that is supportive of the kidney system, the liver system, the lymph system, in support of helping it work better. So your body's able to eliminate toxins in a more efficient and optimized way. I noticed like this glow in my skin. It's really helping detoxify my skin. And I just feel like digestion is working better. Yeah, it's really interesting actually to sit with a plant for continued use, and especially like I'm really trying to not drink anything else with it. Like typically I love oat straw. I'm always drinking linden. I love holy basil, tulsi. And I'm, you know, I open my cupboard and it's like, I want to grab some tulsi and make tea. And it's like, no, I need to stick with the burdock so I can really feel in and really, you know, I want to be very clear in my body on what it's doing for me. And I feel like one of the ways that we can do that is sit with one plant for an extended time and really feel into that. And along with that, you know, a lot of rest, a lot of sleep, a lot of water, a lot of vitamin D.
Whenever you can get it. I love the fact that you've just said a lot of rest. I think that, you know, we sometimes can get a little bit shocked by a change of season, and all of a sudden we just feel completely shattered, and often it's because we've not given ourselves that extra time to just adjust, you know. And I think exercise wise, you know, like part of me wants to still like push and, you know, do more sort of like summary, you know, active. It's kind of like the, you know, like the Leo months are the Leo months for a reason, you know, the most extroverted and most active. And I know that it's been like an adjusted period anyway, but, you know, our bodies still feel that regardless, because we are so rooted to the earth. And I think that it's really, really important for us to acknowledge that just because we haven't been on the go all year does not mean that our bodies aren't still in that normal cyclic pattern, and we have to observe and respect that. I feel like I do, definitely, because ultimately we are ever cyclic in our patterning, aren't we? So particularly in our bodies. But yeah, I've actually not danced for a while because I've wanted to just rest and, you know, allow for play in other ways. But actually I'm feeling the need to open that back up and, you know, and just play a little bit, but in a different way, softer and more gentle and more nurturing, and, you know, those movements. It's interesting, you know, you know, like routine, for example. Routine's really interesting to me, and I think that if you push your body into a routine that it doesn't actually want to do, you know, you'll find yourself becoming extremely tired from it, because ultimately it wants to do something else. And I think that for me, I think is you know, like, I've got to do my workout 3 times a week. You know, like, actually maybe she just wants a rest this week, you know, just like listen. And I also I love the fact that you're saying, you know, sit and listen to really what's going on and absorb that information. I feel like autumn is all about that. Autumn is,
You know, in the
all about
wise
that.
woman, yeah, it is. In the wise woman tradition, the lineage that I follow in my herbalism path, speaks to autumn as being the season of the wise woman, actually. So summer, you know, is go, 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 so much energy, mother energy, create, do. And fall welcomes in this wise woman knowledge that we all have, no matter what our age is, you know, and to sit back and listen to your body and your intuition is something that I think a lot of us really do associate with this wise woman energy. And then as we move into wintertime, the crone energy in us awakens, you know, and it's this really diving deep into our roots and wisdom and kind of pulling back from everybody. And then spring is the young maiden getting ready to bloom again. And so it's not just, you know, the seasons around us, nature that's changing. Our energy field is doing that through the seasons, through the month, you know, with our monthly cycle, through the day. And so much of that is really sitting back and listening to our innate knowing of remembering all of that.
Yeah, totally. And I love, you know what, this is why I love my earthy sisters who do all of this beautiful plant medicine, because I feel like you're such conduits for reconnection. You know, it's such important work to know how the world is providing all of this nurturance in so many different ways. I've actually been a little bit obsessed with watching programs about being in space at the minute. And I know, it's funny. And I had this moment where I was like, well, oh my God, I walked into my kitchen, there was fruit everywhere because I absolutely adore fruit. And I was like, oh my God, there's no fruit in space. And I love fruit and I love greens and I love, you know, like, and then I started to think about all the green hills surrounding my house and, you know, all of these lush landscapes and the different types of landscapes that we have here. And actually, I think, you know, with the harvest moon and the equinox, I feel like it's a really big reminder of how abundant and how fertile this land is and what a jewel in the cosmic landscape this earth really is, you know.
I love that. Yeah.
And I've just thought to myself, you know, this is, I was just, my head's kind of exploding with gratitude and my heart's spiraling out with gratitude, you know, and but with all of that sort of powerful taste and expression of, you know, there's just so much expression within the natural world, particularly to do with herbs and fruits and foods. And I just think it's such deep work to acknowledge that, you know, because it's everywhere. It literally is everywhere. And I think sometimes those simple nourishments that we've always had can be taken for granted so easily, but actually this is so special, you know, that. And that's what I love hearing you talk about connecting to herbs and, you know, like rooting in with the burdock leaf. And that for me, it just epitomizes that, you know, in a really beautiful way, really beautiful way, and powerful too, you know. It's really powerful.
I love what you said about noticing that all of this is just everywhere, the abundance. And yes, it's, you know, like we go out into the world, and whether we live in the city or the suburbs or somewhere in a more rural neighborhood, it is everywhere. And however, it's here first, you know, it's us. We're part of the natural world.
Mm-hmm.
We evolved on this planet with plants, with nature, as part of the natural world. And I feel, you know, my path and my herbal teacher awakened something inside of me that was just such a deep remembering of who not only I am, but all of us are. This super deep connection that we're all part of this. And how that, interestingly enough, I have a really strong meditation practice, a really deep meditation practice, and how that is so interwoven together, this belief system that I've had, that, you know, we're all one, we're all this energetic field operating together. And yes, that speaks so much to the fact that we are part of nature. Nature is part of us, and we have, for so many of us, have forgotten that connection. And it's the remembering, you know, through the plants, through hiking, whatever you like to do outside, even if it's just going to a park and sitting under a tree, or talking to a hummingbird, or watching a little beautiful bee, you know, and not being afraid of any of that, because that's part of who we are, and we're part of that. And we would have never evolved to who we are if it wasn't for this connection with the natural world. And that, to me, like when I sit in meditation on that just blows my mind. And I could talk about that for forever.
I actually think that that's the most perfect spot to actually conclude on, because there's nothing that can actually beat what you've just said, you know. Just understanding that there's nothing to be scared of, you know. I think I personally know that I sometimes need to hear that. You know, there's, when we think about the amount of allergies that there are in the world that are to do with the outside world, and I know I have my share, you know, I don't even understand why I have them, but it's interesting to me that, you know, it's interesting to me that this year has actually forced people out into the natural world more. You know, their hearts have yearned to be out in nature more, which is beautiful. Really, really beautiful, and that sense of connection. And I think intuitively, and it's an innate connection that we all have. It's just whether we nurture it within us, like you're saying. So yeah, I feel like that is such a beautiful sentiment to conclude on, definitely. But yeah, I just want to say thank you again, Monique. This is always such a beautiful chat to have with you, and I just, we'll definitely do this again. And if you want any magical potions and beautiful autumnal, or not autumnal, just beautiful essences and elixirs, and Monique's stuff is beautiful, just so beautiful. So head over there.
And I still have to send you some potions.
Oh, I'd love that. I'd absolutely adore that. Definitely, I'd love to do that. Oh, thank you so much, Monique, and have a beautiful day wherever you are, or whatever you end up doing for the rest of the day. I'm gonna go and nourish myself with some beautiful green luscious food and really enjoy every single bite after this discussion.
That's wonderful. You have a beautiful day too, Rebecca. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Sending you so much love.